I see live.
Jay, we're live.
Okay, great.
I have no idea how I figured that out.
What did you
Sorry.
do different?
No idea. Nothing.
You did nothing different. It just decided to connect this time.
It was like, now we're going to let you go live with somebody.
And you didn't get that before?
Pardon?
You didn't get it a message that said now you're going to go live with somebody?
No.
Oh, okay.
Any Hi everyone. All right, so here we are. Finally, we've made it. Thanks, Jay. Thanks for your patience.
Oh, I didn't know. I just didn't know what to do. I was just sitting here.
Trying to improve my relationship with technology.
Yeah.
And anyways, here we are. Okay, so it's Monday. Welcome. Welcome, Jay. Uh, so Jay's going to be joining me today. He's going to be reading alongside with me. So I think let's just start with kind of like you introducing yourself.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, my name is Jay. I rekindled my path or journey with my intuition about a year ago. I started reading the tarot about 17. When I was 17, I got gifted a deck. It was the Rider Waite Smith deck, and I tried. I tried so hard with that deck. And a year ago, I started traveling for work, with work, and picked up another deck and another one and another one and started down the journey of learning the tarot again. And I picked it up. It came like immediately.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up going to some of your Learn Tarot classes,
Yeah.
and you and I have read together a couple times, probably since when? Since the spring?
Yeah.
When I came back from Texas, since the spring?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
We've been going through the tarot, I think, since, oh wow, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A few months. A few months, a few challenges, a
Yeah.
few new places, and a few, yeah.
But anyway, here we are.
Yes.
So you're back into reading. You've picked up your tarot again.
Yes.
And it always happens whenever I talk to anybody who reads or they've kind of like rekindled like their love of intuition and tarot and oracle decks, is we tend to start to collect them.
Yes.
I like to joke and say like I decided to teach tarot to kind of justify all the decks I buy.
Yes.
To fund the habit. But I get to meet like amazing people like you as well
Yeah.
throughout this journey. And I am curious, what are your favorite decks?
So I pulled out the Light Seers Tarot for today. I think a lot of people are familiar with this kind of deck style. It's new for me. So I find that some of the imagery kind of catches me, and my initial thought of the card, I have to. Sorry, my cats are fighting. I sometimes have to go to the book, so don't mind me if I do that. Um, can you hear them?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, they're biting each other. Anyways, so through personal journey, working on some shadow work, I have this deck, which is the Weaver Tarot, which is not your normal imagery. It is more symbols than it is anything, and this one is for me a more personal deck. The other one I got is kind of a really nice deck. This is the one that really kind of captured me. It is not anamorphed people. It is just animals. So they're not doing human things, they're doing animal things, but by a French artist from France. It's the Tarot Renard. And this one really, yeah, the cat. Someone else made a face there. Tarot Renard, which is just, it's a watercolor deck It gives you really kind of nice, gentle messages. There was one that I had picked up, which is the Deviant Moon Tarot, and that one is not very good. It just kind of messed with me, and it's really dark. Really, I kind of got really negative vibes from it. I think if you're somebody who is maybe a little bit goth, maybe a little bit steampunk, that kind of likes it, maybe you might just kind of fit with it a bit better. But yeah, so those are my two favorite decks. Those are the ones I use a lot. You and I have gone over the entire Rider-Waite-Smith deck, so that is my comfort with that is good. Is much more better. And then the Lightseers, it was on sale. And I know a lot of people use it, and so I picked it up, and it's not something that was initially drawn to. Normally I do a little bit of a deck study, deck interview, figure out how it's going to work with me, how I want to work with it, and I haven't really fully done that with this. However, I just kind of felt drawn to work with it most recently. So yeah.
This deck and it's so interesting because I actually picked this same deck up a few weeks ago and started using it with my clients and even just for personal readings because I really like the imagery. When I write myself with my own cards. To use a different deck to tell me the same message. But I like the imagery. I like how it's like really colorful. Yeah. There's different characters. There's even different animals that are throughout it. And I really feel like there's a lot of movement in the deck as well. So some of the cards, it's like you can look at them and it really gives off this energy. Whereas the Rider, it can feel like a little bit more flat. It's a little bit more 2D almost.
Yeah.
So we are going to be reading from the Lightseers Tarot tonight. And then Jay, you have the Oracle deck as well.
I have. This is also brand new. This one I just picked up. What was it? Last weekend?
Yeah.
The weekend before. No, the weekend before because it's Monday. And I've seen other people read with this. In terms of giving their oracle readings with it, and I'm not gonna lie, I haven't studied this at all, but I will read from the book for that at the end to kind of tie things up.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, all right. So first thing, I just wanted to quickly do a little bit of a recap before we jump into the tarot. Jay is going to pull the cards tonight, and then I'm just going to read alongside with him. And then as per usual, we're going to end with the oracle card from the animals. Is it the Animal Spirit Oracle?
Yes.
Okay. So it's Monday. It's been such a busy weekend and a busy week. I think a lot of people are really feeling that they're starting to things are starting to pick up for them. Things are starting to move. Sometimes there's a little chaotic energy as well. Mars is currently retrograde in Cancer. And Mars is like all about action and movement, and Cancer is your sign. It's 4th house. And it's like all about friends, family, connection, home, what it means to be home. And then Venus is in Pisces, which we talked about again last week, which was coming up in a lot of my readings. And these are actually like really complementary relationships, these kind of two aspects that are happening in the sky, because it's all about the way that we connect to others. So if you're experiencing deep change, especially within yourself and to yourself first, that's like the emotional nature of water. And it's also very highly intuitive. So if you might be feeling a little bit more emotional in your connections, taking things personally, but maybe really feeling very creative and very inspired, one way to balance that, it could start to ask for more intuitive nudges, right? Because there's emotion, there's also intuition. But the energy seems to be lightening up. We also had that big planetary alignment on Saturday. And I can't tell if it was 6 or 7 planets. I go to different resources and I get different things from it. So pros and cons of internet being sometimes our fact checker. But I'm certain there are at least 6 where you can go and you can actually see the planets line up in the sky, which is incredibly rare, because if we think about how long it takes for these massive celestial bodies to orbit, each of them moving at different times and then kind of coming to its own, like coming together and aligning on Saturday. And it was really interesting because we also had our last mediumship circle at Obscura Bazaar on Saturday, and we booked that first, and then we found out about this alignment. So we just took it as that we're doing the right thing, we're on the right timeline, and it was incredible. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who came out. We had a full house, which is also an amazing way to kind of end that chapter, in that version of the mediumship circle, in that most magical space, in that basement, right? You've been down there many times before. And it's this space that it's really hard to describe into words. It's really something to experience. And it was really interesting because at the end of the circle, there was someone who was just sitting there very quietly, and I thought that they were taking notes. But they actually asked if they could share something. So throughout the mediumship circle, you're always welcome to come and try and to share messages if you have them as well. So this individual at the end asked to share, and of course we were all open to it. And turned the notebook around and was like, I'm a spirit drawer, spirit portraiture. And I couldn't believe it. I was so excited because I have been following these kind of spirit sketches online, and they're typically in the States, and I've never met one before, but I have been putting it out there to, like, in some way let one of these artists like cross my path. So it was this incredible moment, one of like synchronicity and manifestation, and she had drawn, there is a woman who we have all come to know and love in the basement, who is in the rocking chair with the boots that are over in the corner if you've been down there. So she drew her, and then there was another person that we're still trying to place. And the other interesting thing that happened during that circle was there was another person who came with a picture, and the picture was actually from somebody who used to rent the same space for years before. So it was really this interesting full circle moment of like, you know, past meeting the present in the same space. They were very happy with how Arian had been using the space. And then also kind of like talking about manifesting, right? So I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who came out on Saturday. It was just this really beautiful moment. We've closed down the space, and just looking forward to seeing what it's going to grow into. So that's the last one for a little bit. We've been holding them monthly, but that is going to change. And I think the next one might be in about May. So stay tuned if that's something that you want to join in. Okay. Other than that, that's it. Let's jump into the tarot. It was a wonderful night. Thanks, Jen. Right? It was so cool. It was so cool. I always say, like, it's a magical space, especially when people come together. It actually took a bit to get into this one. It was kind of quiet because I also think, you know, the spirits of the basement are already starting to move. But once we got things moving, we have messages start to flow, and it was a really, really very beautiful evening. So thank you for joining us. All right. Okay. Those are all my things. So now we're just going to jump into the tarot. So Jay has he has a spread that we're going to use. It's a 5-card spread. So he's going to pull the cards, and then I'm going to match the cards that he has, and we're just going to read for you guys tonight, okay? For me, it brought me back to my past, very much full circle with my family history. Cool. I love that. It was. Right now, it's like also a period of like cyclical endings, right? I had some really interesting kind of timelines or cycles concluding, and it was really this opportunity of like, how are you going to respond? Some of them are like challenging connections that have come back, and it was this opportunity of like, where are my boundaries? What am I going to allow, right? This very Venus in Pisces and Mars retrograde in Cancer kind of energy. So if you are also kind of experiencing that, people coming from the past or different cycles coming back to you, that's kind of the energy that we're experiencing right now too. So thank you for joining us, Jenny.
I'm just recycling this, but it is the year of the snake for the Chinese zodiac. And
Yeah.
so if you can think about what snakes do, they shed their
Yeah.
skin. And also 2025 is a year 9.
Yes. How do you
Which is
interpret
end of
that?
cycles and
Yeah. New chapters.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Love that. All right.
All right.
Let's see what we need to know for this week.
Okay, card 1 is the Queen of Swords.
Okay. Gonna be epic, Sandy. Yes.
So I did a practice reading yesterday. It wasn't really a practice reading. It was full intent there. And so the second card is the High Priestess, which I also got yesterday.
Nice.
Okay. Card 3 is the Seven of Pentacles. Okay. Card 4 is the Eight of Pentacles, which I also got yesterday. Okay. And the Nine of Wands as card 5.
Okay. All right. I'm just gonna move these cards.
She's very contemplative in this. Um,
So card 1, it's kind of like the significator or the main energy. So again, that's the Queen of Swords. And then card 2 is what is manifesting in this spread. So that's the High Priestess. Card 3 is the Seven of Pentacles, and that's the obstacles. Card 4 is the advice, and that's the Eight of Pentacles that we see here. And then the outcome is the Nine of Wands at the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just quickly looked at the book because I find in this deck, it's finally nice to see the posture and a little bit more facial imagery from the court cards. So for one, what's kind of, this, what do we call it? This significator. The Queen of Swords, for this is being very contemplative and very thoughtful. Is kind of the energy moving forward for this week. So not quite yet a hermity kind of contemplative, but just being very reflective and just kind of thoughtful in moving forward throughout this week, being very mindful, very present. And that ties into number 2, the second card, which is what's manifesting. By being contemplative, being in that headspace, being mindful, the High Priestess is kind of that female energy, kind of intuitiveness is manifesting. So if you can kind of put your thoughts into a very present, gratitude, mindful way, kind of the next result of that is going to be putting it out there, connecting with higher source, moving forward. Obstacles with the Seven of Pentacles could be that you might be overly reflective versus being forward, keeping things moving forward, keeping things being mindful, grounded. If you get too grounded and too reflective versus staying in the situation or keeping the things ahead of you as positive thoughts and outcomes,
Mhm.
you might just kind of stifle it a little bit.
That makes sense.
You might just get too grounded and not elevate the thought, if you understand
Yeah.
that.
You
Um,
almost in the doing of the things, right?
Pardon me?
In the doing of the things, right?
In the
Like
doing of the things.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I had to look this one up the other day as well. I thought it was quite interesting to see a girl sitting with her back with the cycles of the moon for the Eight of Pentacles. Um,
Mhm.
and I didn't dislike the image, but it's not something that just kind of like pops up as like an immediate, I know what this is.
No, specifically.
And so
I just,
this in the Eight of Pentacles, I think this is like you usually see like in the Rider-Waite Smith, somebody standing and there's like the vine and they're kind of oh no, this is the guy sitting on the bench crafting up, right?
yeah,
So this is the mastery of skill.
yeah.
This is putting your work, your thoughts, your efforts into motion, and this is the advice. So again, going back, being very thoughtful of the things that you're putting out
Mhm.
there. You'll be able to connect with your higher power and that kind of, I guess, lack of a better word, like your psychicness. But
Mhm.
if you ponder on it too much or get too reflective on it versus kind of trying to keep that thought moving forward in a
Mhm.
progressive kind of way, you can actually stifle it a little bit.
Mhm.
Mastery of everything. So this just to me is, it says here, patience and determination in your soul's purpose. So I guess going back to the Queen of Swords, if you kind of think this week and kind of ponder about what your soul's purpose is this life cycle, I think moving towards it, let me just get a clarifier actually.
Yeah.
Um, I got the Five of Pentacles.
Okay.
So it's a very pentacle forward. Clarifier, master, your soul's purpose. There's a key there, Amber.
Yes, I see it. I have some insight.
Yeah, give it to me.
Okay. So the Queen of Swords, we're in Aquarius season right now,
Okay.
and Aquarius is like fixed air. So Aquarius, air, it's typically like your thoughts, right? It's so the other detail that I like of this card
Mm-hmm.
is there is a little bowl of water. So this card is saying to me, it's really interesting because it's saying this is a time to use logic, right? This is a
Mm-hmm.
time to use reason, um, and not necessarily to rely on the emotion of things, right? Um, and when you're able to get very clear in your mind, maybe you have a lot of things going on. You have a lot of people's opinions, a lot of people telling you different things. You're taking in a lot of feedback. Is typically when I get this card, and it's to step away from emotion
Mm-hmm.
and step into logic. And when
Okay.
you're able to do that, your intuition will actually become more clear, right? What is
Okay.
manifesting is kind of like the intuition of it, because sometimes we do um, we do need to be rational. We do need to be mindful. We do need to get clear, and kind of like clear out the clutter of other people from your head so that
Mm-hmm.
you're able to discern what your intuition is actually saying. And it's interesting that this was the clarifying the Five of
Yeah.
Pentacles. um, this is just so. This is actually, I've repositioned my kind of like my idea of this card is to be
Yeah.
more hopeful, right?
Yes.
Because the door is there, the key is there.
Yes.
Um, you have found it. It's right there. And it's kind of, to me, this is like a message of like hope and to keep going and to look up.
Yeah.
Because if you get, things can be very difficult. And the figure
Yeah.
looks like, I'm tired, I'm worn out. Maybe there's so many people and so many things going on in their
Yeah.
mind. They're just like, I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know, that, where they're now, and they're looking down and they're like missing what's right in front of them, right? And
Right.
then they just look up. And traditionally, this card is also a symbol of like hope.
Yes.
So
Yeah, because what I'm getting is like, just unlock the door. You have the key. Just unlock the door, right?
yes.
Now, the Nine of Wands is that's the outcome. And the Nine of Wands, I know, is
Wow, Vanessa said, wow, what an amazing message. Glad it's
yeah,
resonating with you.
um, determination, resilience, the final push. And I like the image of this card. You know, some people can think that, you know, being behind that fence could be boundaries, but this is, yeah, it just says resilience, final push, excitement for what's coming, find
Mm-hmm.
motivation in the face of difficulties. And so, you know, going back to the Five of Pentacles, that could be your difficulties, right?
Yeah.
Final push. Final push for what? Clarifier. Okay. Judgment.
Judgment. I like that. I like that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
This is judgment. It is direct. Okay,
Yes.
so Vanessa, is it direct to him or everyone on the chat? So Vanessa, this is a community. It's a generic live. So what we do is just kind of sharing community messages. Parts of it might resonate, other parts of it might not. So if it's not resonating with you, then part of this message it's not for you. Other things might connect. Maybe the oracle after will connect with you. So that's kind of the gist.
Yeah. Looking at the Judgment card, it just says knowing your motives and your heart to be true, total transparency. It talks about spiritual awakening. So again, it just kind of rounds out the reading, I think, with the Queen, the High Priestess, not contemplating too much on it. Gaining some mastery, but remembering not to be closed off. That's what it means. You know, being resilient with the things that are happening this week in your personal life, connecting with that spiritual side of things, just to kind of help clarify with that spiritual side of yourself.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's interesting because I thought that this Seven of Pentacle cards was like an interesting position as an obstacle, right? Seven of Pentacles, typically we see that. So I just poked into the book. And the thing that stood out for me was, has your journey shifted so much that what you originally germinated is not the thing you desire to harvest? And this is something that's shown up into my life a lot, which has brought a lot of change for me. Is sometimes I've had these goals, or I've had these destinations, or I've had these ideas of like versions of myself that I wanted to be, especially leaning back into my corporate career. And then by the time that and then you get there, but you've changed so much along the way that when you're there, it's kind of like, oh, this isn't quite what I want anymore. This isn't quite what I had imagined anymore. Or I have learned so much in the process, and I've changed so much in the process that maybe there's certain things that were important to you before they're not important anymore. And the obstacle of that with this Queen of Swords, right, is kind of changing in your mind. Yeah. Now you're kind of like, wow, this thing that I always thought that I wanted to have, or I always wanted to happen, or to me, it was always kind of like climbing the corporate ladder. And then I got up there and I was like, this is not great. This is
Yeah.
no longer serves me.
Yes.
So like in the obstacles position, because when you first pulled it, that's the card that kind of stuck out to me as kind of like, oh, like how
Yeah.
is that connected to this? But like
Yeah.
as we're talking about it, that's what I'm seeing with it there. And the advice is like keep going.
Yeah.
I love this card.
But then the outcome is also keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And judgment is hard. So when you get into the major arcana and you start to pull like these major like end of cycle cards, because there's only, if for people who might not have awareness of it, there's 21 cards in the major arcana, and this is card 20, and card 21 is the world, and it's the
Yeah.
completion. And the major arcana is about these massive cycles and these changes that we experience in our own life. So this is kind of like on the cusp of really radical change, to the point where you might even feel like a different person, or you might feel like this emergence, I don't know, like inspiration and creativity.
Hmm.
Jessica, great nudges for everyone this week to keep going. Love it.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, girl. Thank you, Sandy.
Okay.
Okay. Pretty straightforward.
It was pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
You've used
Any other input?
this one. You've used this spread,
Yes.
and
So,
it's working out for you. I mean, I did. So I did a practice reading yesterday, just so that because it's new for me. I wanted to find something that was a little bit more than just a three-card pull.
yeah.
And when I did this reading for, I did a practice last Sunday
Mhm.
for the Hamilton Collective, the people who come out and watch your live,
Mhm.
and I told you it was a financial. Every card, this one's got a few pentacles, but every card in the other one was pentacles.
Yes.
It was pentacles, and I can't remember what the majors were, but it was pentacles and majors, and that's all it was. And it was kind of the message for last week from me, if you guys want to go back a week, was just we kind of had that family Christmas holidays. Now you're back at work. Maybe you have your
Yeah.
what do you call it, like New Year's resolution or whatnot. But now it's a time to get your finances in order and really kind of sit and focus on, what are the things that I need, what are the things I want, and what are the things that I would like, you know, investments or savings and things like that. So that was
Mhm.
kind of the reading last week. And I did another sample reading yesterday. And what was the sample reading yesterday? I can't remember because I did one for myself, and that one stuck out more in my mind than the reading for this group yesterday.
But the pentacles make sense too, Jay, because it's Capricorn season, right? And we
Okay.
just shift into Aquarius. So Capricorn is it all finance? And Capricorn is also, so pentacles, there are financial and they're also physical,
Yeah.
which just kind of what you were saying. People are really focusing on their health, like physical
Yeah.
and financial health is here too. So that makes sense.
All
Okay.
right.
Now, all right, so Vanessa said, I feel like I was meant to listen to this. Thank
You're
you. And then
welcome.
Andy, beautiful messages in that reading. Thank you. All right.
So staying on this kind of sorry, I covered my mouth there. Staying on this kind of focus on, don't let your mind kind of cloud your connection with your intuition. Um, Reading the animal spirit oracle, they have five signs. So they have earth, wind, fire, and water,
Mhm.
but then they also have spirit.
Love that. Yeah.
Um, and so we got the black egg,
Ooh.
which is part of the spirit. So let me read to you what this says. So the subtitle says, "Speaking from an Authentic Voice, the Truth."
Mm.
The black egg contains one of life's essential treasures. The truth inside of it resides. No confusion, excuses, small talk, noise, or lies. Not even white ones. This living and breathing vessel harbors only that which rings true. When this essence is in balance, we speak slowly and clearly. We are drawn to activities like writing, reading, teaching, singing, and perhaps public speaking.
Mm.
Sounds draw us in. Books draw us in. The concept of truth itself draws us in. We start asking questions like, what do I know to be true about myself? And what is true about the world? When the energy of the black egg is not yet accessed, we speak from an unsure place. We say things others want to hear, gossip, or repeat stories to justify our subpar behavior. We might even try to convince ourselves that we have no inner truth at all. The energy of the black egg hovers and waits for us to reconnect. It is available at every moment, in every situation. It's the epicenter of truth, the birthplace of our voice.
Mm.
Uh, the black egg and the fifth chakra are connected.
Mhm.
The subtle essence of this card resides at the base of the throat, at the fifth chakra. The ancient sages saw this center as the hub that governs our speech and expression, and it translates to especially pure. The balance of this center is important for all of us, but is especially essential for writers, editors, musicians, and teachers.
Mm. That, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that kind of sums up, it's really that Queen of Swords energy to me. I got like as you were saying that, I
Yeah.
kept like looking at the Queen of Swords and being like,
Yes.
remembering to what is yours, and even the High Priestess energy, like what is your intuition? What is your, once you have clarity
Yeah.
of your mind, you're more able to trust yourself and trust your intuition, so
Yeah.
that when you are sharing your voice, when you're speaking, maybe sharing concerns, or you're doing something bold that you haven't done before and speaking in front of people before, or you're teaching something new or sharing something new, you won't have the mental clutter kind of in place because you've taken the time to kind of organize. I don't like saying organize your mind. Like declutter your mind.
Mm-hmm.
What else do you get from that message? Anything?
I get.
Can you just hold it up? Sorry.
Oh, sorry. The card again.
Yeah, please. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So the black egg, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily get that. There's a lot of eggs, and then something about a dragon in the spirit side. Then there's a snake with an egg. So lots of eggs in there. Um, but what I get from that message is, yes, it is the Queen of Swords. It is that high priestess energy. It is the Eight of Pentacles mastery, in terms of the communication component of
Mhm.
things, right?
Yes.
Being able to speak clearly, being able to express your thoughts.
Mhm.
Um, I think this key, or sorry, I think this Five of Pentacles goes
Mhm.
back to the Seven of Pentacles, as the obstacle in terms of um, mm, I think a lot of times what happens is we overthink, we over nurture our thoughts,
Mhm.
worried about what others are going to think, or um, we're worried about other people's perspectives, or
Yeah.
not perspectives, but their
Perception of us.
perception of us,
Yes.
right? I think that's where this comes in. If you're too worried about your thoughts, you're paying too much attention to perfection,
Mm.
that you're not going to have clear communication. And I think that's where that comes in.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's easy to
you know,
things we're missing, right? And the Five of Pentacles is also like, because sometimes I see that card as like you're all, it's easy to sometimes see the bad things, right?
right.
Even as people kind of like have in memory, even like in the spirit world and as a medium, sometimes when there's complicated relationships, some people, the memory is typically of like, uh, what comes first can sometimes be some of the more negative aspects. It's
Hmm.
a culture. Um, and I think the Five of Pentacles is just to like to reposition, right? Back to that hope, back to that hopefulness, that this kind of energy, because I just see like power in this card
Yes.
and imagination and creativity and excitement and like tons of energy. And it's like a return to ritual as well, because there's
All the
like candles, there's
candles,
notebooks, and there's
the
like
moon
water
cycles.
essence. Yeah, yeah. So see the keys that will help you to get there and to choose to open the door.
Yeah.
Hmm. Interesting.
The keys to open the door, and then there's a key.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very cool.
So I
Anybody?
think moving forward, just yeah, be confident, be clear-minded.
Mm-hmm,
Um, talking about the fifth chakra, that is your communication.
mm-hmm,
That is also talking about, um, t- you know, truth, your truth,
mm-hmm,
and yeah. Mhm.
mm-hmm. True. Anybody have any questions? Want clarity? Anything resonating? That's it. Well, that's a pretty straightforward read.
Yeah.
I like it. And I feel
Yeah.
like it's tangible, right? Like, because to clear your mind too, or to get your mind organized, write it down, make a list, meditate, maybe practice with somebody, right? Because this is
Hmm.
also like speaking it. So maybe like going to that person and being like, can I run this by you first? Or can I independence? Yes, Sandy, she just put in
Yeah.
the independence. Or maybe it's practicing in a mirror first. Maybe it's venting. Or it's also really looking and seeing like, are you people pleasing?
Yes.
Right? Are you bound? Are you respecting your own boundaries?
Yes.
Um,
And maybe it's just a reminder to be assertive as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
I resonate with that. That makes sense to me. Hmm. Awesome. Any other thoughts, Jay? Anything else coming to you?
No.
Jay, what was that symbol? The black egg at the top? The circle? Is that supposed
Yeah.
to be?
So on the back, you have your earth, wind, fire, and then this is spirit. So that's what the circle on this one means is, yeah,
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
beat your own drum. Yes.
Yeah. Beat your own drum,
Hmm.
Sandy.
I don't want to like comment on it too much, but it's kind of a little quite empowering. I mean, you have the
Mhm.
Queen of Swords, feminine energy. You have the High Priestess, very feminine energy. You have a female kind of in a looks very positioning of power.
Mhm.
You have your
It
Nine of
is.
Wands,
I just noticed that now.
and then your Judgment. But then also, like, you also have this girl who's locked out, who's sad, right?
Yeah.
As a reminder. And then the man is the stifler, right? Isn't that funny? But
But that could be to receive, right? Because it's receptive
yes,
energy. The
yes,
opposite, I think you're putting out too much, right? You might be
yes,
putting out too much, and just like another perspective on it.
yeah.
Loving this reading. Good, good. Thank you. I'm happy this is really connecting with you guys. I just noticed that too when you pointed it out.
But again, I haven't worked with this deck too much, and I don't think you've worked with this deck too much either, but there's a lot more out of this that you can ascertain than from the Rider-Waite-Smith, right? The imagery is completely different, and it catches me, like, all of those kind of key meanings and things that you learn from the other deck. It's kind of like, wait a minute, what is the author or like the creator mean with this one? And so I feel good about this. I've seen a lot of other people read with it, and they love it, and they just feel so good about it. The Rider-Waite-Smith deck that I got when I was 17 has, like, to me, not really very much energy, but this one has an energy to it. When I hold it, when I shuffle it, it gets me into a space that I am like ready to read.
Yeah, I agree.
And so, yeah. So maybe I should do a weekly reading for you with this.
You could help me. What's happening? Through the equinox, that's what's happening.
Okay.
It's like change.
Yeah.
It's true. Okay, so I'm so happy. Vanessa says, I'm so happy to have found this live. Thank you. We're very grateful that you found this and that you've watched. And Alessandro says, love the mirror with the candle in the back. Thanks, Alessandro. Those are the candles that I made. And so whenever I use mirrors a lot, so I have one that I have a piece of selenite with here that I keep beside me. And I like to keep another mirror with the candle, and it's like a protection thing too. So if you're curious about it. So thank you. Okay, any other questions, comments, anything else before we start to wrap up? No, if not, that's okay. Okay, so just for me, Wednesday, thanks, Alessandro. Wednesday is my last day at the shop. I have one appointment left. You can book it online, but come say hi. It's a very bittersweet day. Exciting change, exciting endings, making way for new beginnings. So if you're looking for one last in-person reading before the Ottawa Street shop closes, you can just go and you can book it on my website. Mediumship development and a new virtual tarot circle, both are virtual. Those are also up online if you want to practice your mediumship in a very safe, open-minded circle, or if you're looking to get a little bit more insight on the tarot. Those two virtual workshops are up for February, and I'm going to be running one more cards on Sunday. All right, Vanessa, happy birthday. Yes, February 5th. Yes, Alessandro, I saw that. I'm excited that you're doing virtual mediumship. It's going to be lots of fun. It's a cute little group that's coming together for that session too. So that's something that I want to start running, monthly. So we're kind of testing it out this month, trying to see, similar to Cards on Sunday, which has really taken off, and we get a really great group every time too. So just trying to open it up to more people in a virtual space. And in the comfort of your home too. So then you can start to set up your own altar, your own ritual space, and kind of get the feel of what it's like to tap into mediumship exclusively. That's kind of where the focus is for that workshop. All right. Jay, thank you so much for joining today. Appreciate it. It's awesome to have somebody else come and kind of share their insight, give a new perspective, different types of decks to use. So very grateful that you've joined me tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We have a fun community. Sandy says thank you. Vanessa, oh my God, yes, love it. It's always great when it connects with people, when they're like, oh, that.
Well, thank you.
Amazing. All right. We will see you all soon. Have a good evening, everybody. Enjoy your week.